Hello, this is Dawn. Welcome to my art room and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's lovely knowing you're all out there tuning into me. I've had a little bit of a jump in my subscribers in the last couple of weeks, and it's lovely to have you show that level of appreciation and hopefully enjoy what I do. But I'm still a bit, involved in hexagons. And in this video, I'm going to make a pin cushion and a needle book, just because I want them, no other reason. I was laughing listening to a lady, Susan, I'll go and find her name properly the next time I come back to you, going, how many pin cushions do I need? And I laughed because I thought, I know, I just have so many, but I like them. And anyway, what I'm doing is I'm going to make these little ones into a pin cushion that's going to be stuffed with walnut shells, which is supposed to help keep your pins and needles sharpened. And I've just been using up some of my Japanese yarn dyed fabrics. I've been doing a few projects. This one is real close. I'm still going to use it. Now with this, I'm not going to do it in the English paper pieced. Can I fit one there? It's no different. Okay, forgot the internal. Alright, so I'm not doing English paper piecing because this is going to be having it's going to be stuffed with the walnut shell, and if I have too big a gap, it'll leak out, it'll drip all over the place. And so, I'll be leaving walnut shell everywhere. Cool. Alright, so what I need, so I've traced around this is, it'll tell me on here, 3/4 inch hexagon that has a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So internally this is what will end up, and this is the seam allowance. Okay, these are So Easy brand. Our Spotlight has them. A pack of them, different sizes. So I'm going to use those. So I need a front and a back for this pin cushion, and I need 7. So I'm going to alternate the dark side and the light side. Just for a change, something to do. Cool. Alright, I'll get cracking on one side. I just wanted to show you how I was tracing them. So I've traced this is the seam line that I'm going to be joining them on. Okay, so if you were doing English paper piecing, this internal bit would be the piece that you would cut the paper out of and then turn your seam allowance, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to do flat seams, and like I said, the reason is that I don't want to leave a little trail of walnut shell everywhere. I've got 2 pin cushions sitting on my table now. But I might want to take this with me somewhere and use it when I've got my little bowl for my hexagons, and I could put my pin cushion and my needle book in there, and so I can just pick it up and take it with me. That's a perfectly good reason to have another pin cushion. I'm keeping all these bits because my next bit is going to be, I'm going to be using some scrap up for the needle book. Cool. All right. I just laid these down like a jigsaw puzzle, just making sure that I'm not wasting any fabric. But then you've got to make sure that you cut beyond the lines. Just used a pen that will iron or is heat erasable, and it's red because I can see it on here. I mean, I could use black, but I think the red one is showing up good. How many have I got? 2, 4, 6, 7. Good. I'll cut the rest out in a minute. All right, this one can be the middle. I need a middle one, and then I need the 6 to go. Oh yeah, I want them on that side. I want the dark side. I've got a black one black one there. I wonder if that would be probably better as an internal one if I've only got one of those. Looks like I've only cut out one of them, traced off one. So then on the other side, because this has got a back and a front that's the same, but what I'll do is, like I've put the pale one here in the middle, I'll put the dark one in the middle on the other side. Good. All right, that's that one there. Cool. Now, I've drawn my seam line that I'm going to be stitching and following along here in the red. Okay, gonna find a little clip. What do I do with all the little clips in here? Oh, I didn't think that I put them away. Tidy. All right, cool. I'm going to use a black thread. Just, it's right here. It's, this one is a polyester. Could have a bit more light on the subject when I'm using black. Always, I like a bit more light. Okay, so I'm going to follow this line here. I'm going to put my needle right in there in that corner and make sure that it's corresponding on the other side. All right, I'm going to go forward and then back like one thread just beyond that knot, then come back, do about 3 stitches somewhere in the middle, go back. What that does is it locks it, because otherwise you can run the risk, so making sure that I'm ending on the corner where that seam allowance is. With the locked stitch, it just stops it from gathering. Yep, okay, cool. All right, it's going to look like that. I'm going to finger press it with the seam in, because if I opened it, there's little escape routes, you know, escape holes for those little bits of walnut shell. All right. This is the middle one, so I'm going to add another one here. Now, I'm going to fold this one over here away. All right, fold the one I just stitched on away. I've still got my thread attached. Join these up again and bring my thread through to that side. Sorry, need it to be there, and then bring it from that red corner on that one there through to this one on this side. All right, again, just check. What we don't want is that one going over the top, but we do want them to join. So just, you can sort of kind of feel where the fabric is there. You can, so you've got a join, you haven't got any gaps. It's kind of like one thread beyond that. All right, sorry, didn't realize that lamp was right there, but I want it. The day has got a bit dull, and I'm just looking for that little bit of light, especially when I'm sewing with black. Cool. This won't take very long, even though we're hand stitching. It's you know, I'm just doing little stitches. Yep. I'm going to go back there and go forwards. Just that one thread beyond that pen line, and do another little stitch just to hold it. Okay. Fold him back away. Finger press with your finger. Oh yep, make sure your thread's on that side. All right, where that red line is, we want that thread over there. Finger press him out of the way. Add another one. I haven't looked at the pattern, I just cut them out. If you want to be particular about which one goes where, then you would need to work that out for yourself, but I'm not worrying about it. All right, bring the needle back through to that other side, making sure you haven't caught this one. Kind of feel it with your finger. You can feel that you know, seam, that one thread, okay, beyond. Oh, I do that so often, stab myself on my thumb here. No wonder I haven't got a callus there. All right. An extra little stitch. Remember, take the thread through to that side there. Japanese yarn dyed fabrics are gorgeous on both sides. Doesn't matter which side you put it on. There is sometimes an obvious right and wrong side, but they look gorgeous on either side. And you know, I never, you know, I argue with myself as to which side I prefer. That other black one must be from a different fabric. And I really just picked up some scrap because I thought, oh yeah, there's enough, they're big enough there to get the hexagons out of. Okay, cool. Okay, so I've put one together, ready to go, and I'm almost done the second one. So once you've put them all around the outside edge, it's then joining them together. Okay, so what I'm doing is the middle one, this is the middle one, join them together just on one. We joined, when we were doing the bowl, we did two, but we're only going to do one. you know, a knot in your thread, come into that corner where that red, you know, where you've traced on your seam line, and just the same idea, just stitch them together till you've got each piece done. This is a nice quick little project to do in an afternoon. It's you know, it doesn't take very long. Just if you've got your bits and pieces, that's all you need. And really, if you haven't got walnut shell, it wouldn't matter. Stuff it with whatever you want to stuff it with. Just wadding will do. It will make a pin. It will make a pin cushion. Alright, so this is the middle one here. I'm just folding it back, holding everything out the way, joining the next two together. Start in that corner. You can feel it with your fingers. You can feel the layers of fabric in here where that fold is. It's just a different method of putting the hexagons. It can be any shape. It doesn't just have to be hexagons. You can do this with other shapes as well. Not doing English paper piecing. And like I said, there's a reason for me not doing it. I was going to, and then I suddenly, you know, just sort of putting the thoughts into my head as to what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. And I went, oh, in my head, no, I can't. I actually can't do that, because it definitely leaves a little gap between when you're stitching it together. Well, mine does. Yours may not. Mine does. And if you were doing it by machine, possibly not. Your stitches would be close enough together that you wouldn't leave that gap. I'm trying to keep my stitches pretty small for that reason. Pulled it. Nearly there. I think I've got one more. Have I? One more? Two more. Nearly there. I wonder what other hexagon ideas we can find. I have found another funny little thing made out of hexagons, which is quite cute. May or may not do it. I'll just see how I go. I might be sick of hexagons after this lot for a little while. I think some of the other girls are keeping them going throughout the year, so I might jump back in and add another thing with hexagons. Some of them are making a work mat to go on their work table that's padded. They can make it into a, you know, have their pins stick into it. I haven't done that. I have done like a placemat with a star in it out of the hexagons. It looks quite nice on the spare room bedside table. has a table mat. Looks quite nice there. I thought about mug rugs and table mat. Haven't got my head around it yet. Haven't got my head around it yet. Okay, right, we're nearly there. One more. Now ideally it would be good to iron it. If I iron it, I will get rid of all my seam lines, because this is an iron, you know, a pen that fades with the heat from the iron. So I'm going to give it a go at just like, I've got a pressing tool, and I'm going to see if that will help. If it doesn't, well then I'm going to have to iron it and then rule lines back in. Simple as that. Or take a guess as to where they are, which I could probably do because it's about 1/4 inch. So those of us that have stitched patchwork quilts before probably have a fairly reasonable eye of 1/4 inch. There's a pincushion there. There's one. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them all go the same way. All right, let me just see if I can get that tool. This is my new one, and I got for my birthday. All right, so I'm going to fold this seam over here and that seam there, making sure that they're there. All right, again. Because really all we want to do is make sure that they're nice and flat, and that works beautifully. But if I have them all go the same way, then they'll sit nice. They'll sit nicer. All right. I mean, you can open them like that if you were stitching, but that's the thing. I don't want those little gaps for the stuff to get out. Alright, that's pressed it pretty good. You can buy other tools. This is a new one my friend gave me on my birthday, and it works really good. Alright, and just all the little bits. Alright, let's do this one. Same way. In saying that, do I want them to go the other way? Oh no, they will automatically go the other way. That because they're going back to back. Yep. I was just doing a bulk thing then. Alright, done. Nice and flat, flattish. Right, now we're going to join them all together like this, back to back, front to front, right side to right side, okay? And we're going to join them all along those seams. Now see how that one goes that way, one goes that way? That just helps to make it sit nicer. If you can get that to happen, that's perfect. Alright, I'm going to clip them, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave one of these open. I'm not going to stitch all the way around. So I can turn it inside out to fill it. I've seen people make pin cushions out of metal filings. I do not know where you get metal filings from. I remember as a young girl at school, the school I went to when I was in primary school was a brand spanking new one. And so, you know, there was like, 10 of us started there. And there was a bloke making metal, so they had a brick no, that a brick fence, and then they had, you know, that had a pillar and a low fence and then a pillar, and they put this, you know, fancy metal, like, what do you call it? You know, like that metal scroll work where they cut the metal pieces and weld it into some fancy design. And he was doing it in the playground, this bloke, this metal guy. Very clever, I might tell you. And I remember the metal filings all over the ground. And as kids, you know, they were fun to play with magnets. You know, you could scatter them. Now, you know, that just was like a memory that popped into my head then. How weird. Should have gathered them all up and kept them for, you know, 65 years, whatever. Not. All right, now I'm going to do this exactly the same thing. Exactly. Join them in the same way so that where that red line is, coming up into that red corner there. Oh. Gathered a bit of thread up. Oh, that was weird. Alright, go forward and that first one, go back. I'll just always do that, and the same at the end. Go forward and then go back. Just to lock the stitch. Alright, making sure those seams are there, the corners are matching there. I mean, all you want to do is keep the shape, because if you don't do that, it could stop looking like a hexagon. So I think this sort of design is called something like Grandma's Flower Garden, something like that. When you join the hexagons all around a centre one and create that flower shape. So I think that's what it's called. Now I'm heading, I can't see it because it's tucked under the seam here, but I'm heading for that point there because there's no seam marked on here, so I'm going to put my needle right in that corner where those previous ones joined. And I'm going to give that another stitch because it's a pressure point. Alright, the pointy bits probably not so much, although in saying that, as I turn it inside out they may. Alright, we didn't do it there, but we'll do it for the rest. Just put an extra stitch in that point. Alright, back to the point, and then onto the next one. Now, rather than cut off this, rather than hang on to this thread, I'm cutting it off because it's just ends up just too much to be bothered with, really. But that's all stitched all the way around, and I've left just those two there open, so I can turn it inside out from there. We did that little extra stitch to start and end. We've got something a little bit firmer to hang on to the fabric with when you're manipulating it like this. You can put stress on it, which was what I was saying about the corners and the points. Alright, so I've got this little wooden pointing stick. Alright, straight down. Okay, that's the shape of it. Remember. I'm just, manipulating it carefully. I don't want to put a hole in it. Yep. Done. Okie doke. Just because really once it's done, once it's stuffed, it's like not going to be. You're not going to be able to manipulate. Not going to be able to manipulate those corners. Bother. That went straight through there. Oh, it's just the seam. It might be alright. Be careful. Be careful. It's cute. It's a cute little hexagon. A hexagon from hexagons. Alright. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck those in. I'm going to put a pin in them, because then I'm going to press it so that all I've done is tucked in that bit of seam allowance that I'm going to hand stitch close once I put the stuffing in it. Come out a bit more. I don't know, is it? Let me see. Oh, yep. Alright, so just tuck that in into the hole so that it's sitting there ready and waiting. Alright. Done. Done. Okay. Let's get rid of all of this. And the reason being is that I just want to try and press it into shape now that I've, finished that bit of stitching, and I want to press that bit of seam in there. Because once you've filled it, you're not going to be able to do that. Okay, it's a cute little size for a pincushion. It's just like perfect. Perfect. I couldn't decide on the size of the hexagon to use, and I fiddled around with it just, looking at it, and just thought, oh, I think that's going to be alright. Alright, a few good tools now. Disposable plate, teaspoon. Alright, and a bag of crushed walnut shells. Now, I bought this at a place that sells things for your Aussie, it's called Aussie barbecue smoke. it's a place where they have things for like your barbecue and your smoker. And I'm going to tell you, a whole lot cheaper than craft supplies. Oh, I thought I was going to lose it all over the floor then. That wouldn't have been much cheaper. Alright, I've left that little hole. I'm going to put him over here. I reckon I could pour that. Let's give it a whirl. Can I pour it? I need another pair of hands. Oop. All right, once it starts to fill, it'll open up that hole a bit more. Oop. All right. You can't see a thing. Oh dear. I'm going to do this, but you can see it. All right. I wasn't having any, it was just easily pouring in through that plastic bag. That's why it's on the bowl. Takes quite a bit. It's surprising. You know, I've made, so this was like, I don't know, what does it say? 2 kilos. I've made, you know, those long ones. I've made at least 3 of them. I've made some. So what I'm going to do is just with a spoon push it into those spots. Whoop. Yeah, so I'm trying to fill up those things there. I've made a few small ones. Yeah, you don't, you know, you need more than you think you're going to need. All right, now can I do this and you still see what I'm doing? Let's have a go. All right, so it just pours in through the plastic bag. Yeah, good. All right. I was trying to get it in the bowl and I managed to get it over here. That's just going to stay there for a minute. Otherwise, you and I are going to be here all day. And I won't have done my other one. All right. I'm going to keep filling it till I like the feel of it, basically. Yeah, there's still quite a gap here. I think it needs to be like solid. So, yep. Still a gap. All right, I'll come back when I've got no gap. Okay, so, you know, word of warning, use something that you can easily wipe it off with. I've got this plastic plate as well. But each time I sort of, you know, push the spoon in, it kind of like pushes it down a little bit further. I think it needs to be compact. You know, I don't think there needs to be gaps. Now, the only way to manage getting it stitched together that I've found in the past is to put a little bit of wadding. So not a huge amount, but it just, you know, it just helps you not to get crushed walnut shell all over the place. So if you just put that there, which just holds it all in place, because we're going to come in now and stitch that gap closed. Can't see the thread. It's gone, 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 gone. Oh, you've got to be joking me. How can it be gone? was hiding. I was hiding. Oh, I don't know how long I've taken to make a pincushion now on this video. I wonder if it needs to be 2 videos for the needle book. I don't know. But when it's, I think when it's, you know, a bit of, it's got construction technique, I think you need to see what I'm thinking about. Alright, so I'm gonna put the needle and thread inside here where I've folded in that bit of seam allowance, tucked it in, and then do the same that, oh, I might put an extra stitch in here, so that ladder stitch that I've used in other things. So I did a bowl, and when I was putting the hexagons together, I used this ladder stitch, so you can use the same one for closing this up. So all we want to do is get rid of that. See, that bit of wadding just helps eliminate the difficulty of trying to stitch over the top of walnut shells. Oh my goodness, don't tell me I've got a knot in it. The heck? What the heck? You can get out the way. Yes, there's one little knot here. Alright, so I'm just going from one side to the other, picking up sort of like the fold of the fabric. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Tuck that wadding in. Alright, cool. Looks like it's going to work. And you could just do overcast stitch if you didn't want to do that sort of ladder stitch. I'm sure it will be alright. Always going to happen when you're really in a hurry that your thread gets a knot in it. Now down the track you might find that your walnut shells move around and you might, you know, one might escape, but on the whole it should be fine because we folded over those seam allowances. We covered the stitching, you know, the gap. We didn't open the seam to reveal the gap between the stitches. When you do a flat one, and you've only got the stitching, you know, the stitch line, the open stitch line. And that's some escaping there. Could be. Good. Alright, there we go. There's a little hexagon pincushion. Looks pretty good. Harder to see, isn't it, sometimes? Alright, let me just finish this off and just tuck that thread in there somewhere. Alright, that one of those corners look like they're gonna... Trouble is I spilt it, so I don't know what's actually coming out and what was just on it. Alright, cool. There we go. That's my little hexagon pincushion. Hexagon shape. So now I'm up to jazzing it up, and I thought that I was going to be adding the video for the needle book. I'm not. So this is the last bit of this video that you're going to see, because I know that I was talking about it. And this was a thread holder that I made quite some time ago, maybe like a year ago or even the year before. It was during the Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, can't remember the volume, but we were making useful things, and I made this container. I did some, excuse me, learnt some ribbon embroidery. I've got to move over, sort of too far over to one side. But the thing that I really loved, and these are Japanese fabrics, I'm still using them, was the trim. And I have had the trim for a long time. I think it was from the craft section of the, the fabric shops, not the sewing section. But I loved it. I love the lime and the turquoisey colour, aqua, whatever colour it is, with the black, or with the black and grey. So that's all I had left. Very sad state of affairs. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I could learn to make it myself. Well, so this morning and decided, well, Corinne and I were up for a little chat, and I said to her, she goes, "You're sewing?" And I said, "Yeah, I am, but I'm trying to teach myself how to make this trim." And oh my gosh, I think this is like, I don't know, take 10. At one stage I nearly gave up, and then she and I had a talk about it and tried to work out how I could do it. Now it looks like, a bag of lollies. But anyway, it's fun. It's not anything. It's, for me, it's just a bit of fun. So I thought, well, I'll come and show you how I did it. So I had this this thread that I'd dyed, and I twisted it, and then twisted it back on itself, so it made like a self cord, like this sort of idea. And then I've got a needle here. I've got all the needles are poked in it because I'm halfway through doing things, so I'll come back and show you that bit in a minute. So I've made the cord, and I'm just couching it on. I'm couching it on with some gold thread. Why? You can't hardly see it, but the original, this would have been machine done. They had gold thread. I don't know if you can see it. It's in there. It actually might even be wire, copper, like a copper wire. But I thought, well, what the heck? We might as well have a bit of gold thread. We've got everything else going on it. So, yep. And sorry, pulls out the front with the hedge trimmer, making a loud noise. So that's what you could hear a second ago. And the camera will probably pick him up in a minute, and that'll chime as well. So we'll have it all going. All going on. It's okay. Cool. All right. So I'm just going to bury that knot in here somewhere underneath. It will bury itself eventually, because I've got, and I'll cut off any bits that I don't need. So all I'm doing is couching along that seam line of the join. Oh yeah, here comes the hedge trimmer again. At the front of our place we've got lots of those hedging plants that just kind of like make a bit of a border, and they're in need of a haircut, and it's not so hot today, so he's out there playing with that little toy. It's making a big noise. So I'm just going across from one side to the other, couching it on. Yes, when I looked at the videos that I've made for the needle book, I realised that it was never going to be able to be done in the one video. I don't know why I thought I could do one video. This little pincushion didn't take very long. I want to say a couple of hours up until now, and maybe not even a couple of hours. This is all sort of untangled itself, but I can retwist just to get it couched on. Oh, I tried threads. I tried just embroidering it on. I tried little beads. You know, I thought, well, I could make the trim and then couch it on. No, that was just, gosh, that was, yeah, that was almost give up stage at that point. And then Corinne actually suggested this. Thank you, Corinne. No, she suggested plaiting it. So I tried that. Oh my Lord. I almost needed therapy after. I said, no way am I plaiting it. It was like 3 strands of this and it was going to take me forever. No. So then we just talked about this, you know, the twisting, like making it your own cord. Cool. You can see how after handling it, you know, the things move around. So really why I wanted it to be padded quite solidly, because otherwise it would be just I'll just keep twisting that because it's just the end that's come untwisted. Yeah, you'd just end up with it out of shape in no time at all. And this isn't taking much to do it, and I thought I had it pretty compact. I'm going right to the end of this because it needs another, you know, couple of inches, of course. Of course it does. Oh yeah, sorry. I must have walked past the camera again. And my phone's got the alert on it. And he was trimming right near the front door. All right. I presume you know how to do this, so will I show you? I can have another piece. All right. So I've just got 2 pieces of thread. And this is some I dyed, and it's cut. I cut it on purpose when I was dyeing it, and then regretted that because it sort of went a bit crinkly. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a knot in. So there's 2 pieces. I'm going to tie a knot in that end and then put my finger in that end and hold these 2 and then just start twisting. And just keep twisting till it twists back on itself, and you'll see that happening. It doesn't take very long. No, this is a very long piece of thread that I'm doing it with. It's only that I wanted it longish. I could just use 1 thread, double it over. I'm still twisting. And as soon as you sort of like take the tension off, it just twists itself. All right, you can untwist it if it's not twisted enough. And then what I try and do is go in half. I hold it with my chin. Work out where the half point is. No, I wasn't quick enough. All right, pull it down. And yeah, it'll twist back on itself. It's actually called plying. It'll make like a string or a rope. Quicker than plaiting. Oh, the plaiting nearly did my head in. I said to her, oh God, I can't plait this. I can't sit here and plait this till I don't know when without losing the will. Cool. All right, I'm just joining it there because I'm going to have to cut it off when I get to the end. All right, I'm going to go back over that a couple of times just to catch that loop in there. I'm actually going to try and go through it with my needle just to make sure that it doesn't pull out. Yep, and I can disguise that with a bit of silk ribbon. The metal thread comes on, you know, the metallic thread comes out of the needle. It's slippery, but easy enough to rethread. Cool. All right. I've got all my beads out. Yesterday I had a muddle with the fabrics. Today I've got a muddle with beads because I just didn't know what colour I wanted to do. I've got lime green out. I got orange out. I don't have that turquoise colour or that aqua colour in beads. I have it in lots of other bits and pieces, but not in beads. Can you believe that? Fancy not having that colour in beads. Just need an excuse to buy more beads. No, I'm not. I'm going to use what I've got. I used to be an avid collector of beads. Wherever we went and they had beads, I'd buy some. Often the craft shows used to have them. There was a few companies that sold the beads and you could buy them by the weight. Sadly, that's no longer. I haven't seen beads at a craft show in a very long time. Okay, I'm gonna end this off here. I'm gonna put a knot in it because the other thing will just, you know, the silk ribbon will disguise that end, and really it's not going to have anything that's going to be pulling it out. Just a bit of fiddle. It was a bit boring before. Can't be having no cut. I mean, you could just do that if you didn't really want to do what I'm doing. It's like totally over the top. I think that's probably got enough knots in it. Done. That's that one. And now I'm going to put that needle there. Now with the silk ribbon, I've threaded it on a needle with a bigger hole, and then what I'm doing is I'm just weaving it in and out. Every now and then I come back and I have a bit of a play with, because the only way to hold it now, it will be the coming back with the beads. So I'm just going between the couching stitches, taking the ribbon through, leaving a little loop, because I want a little loop, go back the other side. I'm going to have to get more ribbon in a minute. I wasn't sure how much I was going to need. So each of those between the couching threads, I'm putting the needle in and out. This one was a bit long. the loop, not wanting to leave too big a loop. It just looks silly otherwise. Crazy enough as it is. Don't need to make it any worse. All right. I don't know if I'm going to get it through again, but if I do, it's going to come unthreaded from the needle, I think. Ooh, just. All right. Pull him through. Can I go one more time? Oh, I went, use the blunt of the needle, the blunt end, the eye end, because if I split the thread, the ribbon is not going to go through. One more. Might as well use it up. There's no point in cutting it off. And then I'm going to, all right, that's gonna, yeah, cool. All right, I could probably make those a weeny bit smaller. So all I'm doing is adjusting it by the loop. Yep. All right, I'm gonna cut it off, but not until I've stitched it down. All right, it's still a bit, it's a bit big. Yeah, see, it was fiddle, 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 and it was even worse this morning when I was doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm mad. Corinne said, go and buy some. I said, well, I don't know if I can get it anymore. That was the biggest problem. I just don't know if we can buy it anymore. All right. I don't need that needle. Now, what I've got here is some rayon thread that's in a green colour. And I'm going to stitch some beads on now. And what I'm doing is going through, oh, can I get it on there or not? Oh, I've got this tiny little beading needle. And while the rayon thread is easy enough to thread, it also, you know, gets fluffy and separates and all sorts of silly things. Oh, am I really not going to be able to thread it? No. I need this lamp a little closer. Come a little closer, light. I can see what I'm doing. Goodness. All right, here we go. I think I've got it. Cool. All right, so with this, I'm just threading on a bead. And then stitching through the ribbon to hold it down, because really at the moment there's nothing holding it. It's just going through that the green loops. It hasn't been stitched down at all. It is now. It is being stitched with the bead. I'm not bothering to put an extra stitch in it. All right, I know that was painful to watch threading, but I need to get more thread. I'm going to run out. All right. I'm just sort of weaving it back in and out to just bury the end of the thread. You can get some more. I started off with these lime green beads, and then I found this bead that's it's cloisonne. Can you see that? I bought it in China. It's where they use a very fine metal thread on the piece of pottery, so it's sort of made out of a clay bead, and then they fill it with the glaze. And it was this green colour that matched that better than that. Yep. All those little things. All those little things that are important. Cool. Goodness. All right. I just seen that I just added 20 minutes talking about this. Goodness, I don't even know where that time goes. I thought it was going to be like 10. Well, I don't actually know what the first part of that, it's not, I think we're still under the hour, but I just wanted to be able to finish it. Oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to, I don't know why it does that, just every now and then. It's if you try too many times to thread it, it's got to go in the first time. If it doesn't do that, then you've had it. It just gets fluffy on the end. All right, 2 more beads just to show you what I was doing, and then I'm going to stop. You've seen how I do that bit. Come in from somewhere. Just want to make sure that I catch the ribbon. I'll trim off any of those ends. All right. I'm not sort of thinking about how many I'm putting on, I'm just doing it. But it's tending to be sort of kind of almost every loop. But if I don't catch it, it'll pull out. All right, cool. I'll be back. Okay. Sorry, 1 minute left. I just didn't realise this video was going to go for as long as it has. It's yeah, it was a fun thing to do. I've jazzed it up within an inch of its life. I think I've added a little bit of dyed trim here that I had. Just cut a bit of that off. Added a couple of little glass heart, little leaves, little glass leaves. My little cloisonne butterfly. Couple of needles. Cool. Hope you like this little project. See you later.